Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Thiruvan Saranai. What are akusala, unwholesome kamma? Now, akusala citta are the first group among the 54 kamma citta, the sense sphere consciousness that we will be talking about. Now look carefully at this slide. Here we have shown the 54 different kamma citta or sense sphere consciousness, and they are broadly classified into 3 categories. The first category is what we will be talking about today, and those are the 12 akusala citta, the 12 unwholesome consciousness. The second group are ahetuka citta or rootless consciousness, and there are 18 such consciousness. And the third group are the 24 sobana citta or beautiful consciousness. So what we will be talking about today will be the green group here, the 12 akusala or unwholesome consciousness. What is akusala dhamma or unwholesome states? The word akusala means something that is unwholesome, something that is bad or not moral. Just like an enemy is opposed to friendship, unwholesome or immoral is opposed to moral or wholesome. And there are 12 such akusala citta, 12 unwholesome consciousness. And you must remember that all akusala are kamavachara. They all belong to the sense sphere. So what are akusala? There are 12 such akusala citta, 12 unwholesome consciousness. 8 lobha citta, 8 consciousness rooted in greed. 2 dosa citta, 2 consciousness rooted in hatred, and 2 moha citta, 2 consciousness rooted in delusion. Now look carefully here. The word rooted is given here. So what really is meant by this word rooted? Let's take a look at that. In the Abhidhamma, it is explained that there are 6 roots: greed, lobha, hatred, dosa, delusion, moha. These 3 roots, lobha, dosa and moha, are called unwholesome or akusala hetu, akusala unwholesome roots. Non-greed, alobha; non-hatred, adosa; non-delusion, amoha. These 3 are called beautiful roots. Now, why are they called roots? The word hetu in Pali has many meanings. In the suttas, the word hetu is used to denote the meaning of a cause or reason, karana. It is also synonymous with the word paccaya or condition. But when it comes to the Abhidhamma, hetu is used exclusively in the sense of mula, root. And let's see why it is called a root. What is the function of roots? If you think of a tree which has very strong roots, the function of the roots is to provide stability, to provide a certain amount of fixation to the ground. So roots have the ability of making the tree stand firmly above the ground. Similarly, the function of the roots that we mentioned, lobha, dosa, moha. When it comes to the akusala or unwholesome consciousness, as well as the alobha, adosa, amoha. When it comes to the kusala, vipaka and kriya citta. These roots provide a certain sense of stability for the existence of the consciousness and the associated mental factors. And for that reason, they are called roots. Now, there are certain consciousness which do not possess any roots. Now, if we go back to the slide that we showed you, the 54 different types of kamma citta, the middle group were the 18 ahetuka, or the 18 rootless consciousness. And the reason why they are called rootless is because they are not associated with any roots. Therefore, they're not very firm, they're not very stable. They're very weak and unstable consciousness. And the simile given in the commentaries is that a rootless consciousness is like moss that floats around on water, because they are not firmly stabilized by a root that has sunk into the ground. So now coming back to the 6 roots. The first 3, lobha, dosa and moha, are akusala hetu, unwholesome roots. The remaining 3, alobha, adosa and amoha, are called sobhana, or beautiful roots, because they accompany beautiful consciousness. These are the kusala, wholesome, vipaka, resultants, and the kriya citta. Now we'll be talking about these later on, but right now I want you to focus only on the 3 akusala roots, the lobha, dosa and moha. Now here we have a table which gives the association between the different types of consciousness, citta, against the roots that are associated with them, given in the rows. Now again, I want you to focus only on the highlighted area in orange. Those are the citta, the 12 lobha citta, and the associated roots with each of these citta. So let's look at the first consciousness. So the first group are the 8 lobha citta, the 8 greed-rooted consciousness. They are associated with 2 roots, greed, lobha, and moha, delusion. The second group, the 2 dosa citta, or the 2 consciousness rooted in hatred, the hate-rooted consciousness, they are associated with 2 roots, dosa and moha. And finally, the 2 moha citta, delusion-rooted consciousness, has only 1 root, and that is moha, delusion. So in a nutshell, there are 12 unwholesome consciousness, 12 akusala citta. 8 of them are lobha citta, and the lobha citta are associated with 2 roots, moha, delusion, and lobha, greed. The 2 dosa citta are associated again with 2 roots, moha, delusion, and dosa, hatred. And moha, the moha citta, are associated only with 1 root, which is moha, delusion. With that, we will wrap up this quick talk on akusala citta. During our next lesson, we will talk about the individual types of akusala citta, starting off with the lobha citta, greed-rooted consciousness.